If you don't know what this is, you better watch this video. This is the Nikon FTZ to Z mount. It helps you attach all of your old F mount glass to your Z mount body. It doesn't matter if it's APS-C to full frame. This works for all older Nikon lenses, so you can use it on your mirrorless camera. And in this video, I will be reviewing not only one, not two, but essentially all three of my Nikon D50-200 lenses, the Sigma 17-50, the good old trusty Nikon 35 1.8, and the lovely Nikon 18-50 kit lens, all three using my one and only FTZ mount. I'm going to see how it does, how all these lenses look in 4K, and more importantly, how well does this autofocus actually do on third-party lenses as well as your old school Nikon lenses. Seeing how this works, stay tuned guys, stay tuned. And if you don't know who I am yet, my name is Peter. You're watching Broke Visionary, where I help you create something out of nothing and overall become a better content creator. And if you watched any of my older videos, I've used Nikon glass or plastic if you're on a budget for quite some time. And one of the main reasons why I decided to actually pick up the Nikon Z50, which you're actually seeing right now, is that it had a little bundle with the Nikon FTZ mount. And essentially what this mount does is, as you can see, it is F mount compatible. So F mount going into your Z mount. As you can see here, it is compatible with any F mount glass. So what I'm going to do right now is, as you see here, I'm going to attach this right onto this guy. Just see the white dots here. Click it into place. There you go. And now you have your F-mount glass is ready to be attached to your Z-mount body. And in this case, I'm going to be attaching both of my Sigmas and my kit lens onto my Nikon Z50. I have my autofocus settings on fast as well as in the middle or medium when it comes to sensitivity. And if you guys want to check out that video on how I changed the speed and what are my best Nikon Z mirrorless Z50 settings, links in the description, check that out. But enough yapping, let's get straight into this lovely test. And for the first test, I'm going to be using my Nikon 35mm 1.8, as y'all can see right here. AFS super fast glass, and it is one of my most recommended glasses if you decide to upgrade from your kit lenses. Get yourself a 35 prime 1.8 bokeh-licious lens, and I'll put that on right now and see how that actually does in a low light situation. So right now I have my Nikon 35 1.8. Settings are at autofocus 5. Sensitivity is medium. And I have one ring light right here. And one thing I noticed right away is the sound. But in terms of autofocus, I'm going to be moving really slow, seeing how that tracks. And then I'll be backing away. Oh, it lost focus there. So walking slower. Let's kind of level this out. It's a little crooked. And this is how it looks like in 4K with your 35mm 1.8. And if you are depending on using this lens, first thing I'd recommend is getting yourself a lav mic so you won't be able to hear it or reduce the sound of the focus motor within the 35 1.8. But for the most part, me actually using this, check out my Broken Budget series, is that it's actually recording pretty damn fine. Now that we tested the 35 1.8, what I wanted to see if this Nikon Z50 can actually handle something with a little bit more weight. So now I'm going to use the Sigma 17 to 50, 2.8 constant aperture. As this is a third-party lens, it's a little bit heavier. It's a little weighted, but one of the good things about the F to Z mount glass is that it does have the tripod adapter here, so you can actually put it onto the tripod instead of having the body on the tripod. This is a great heads-up thinking by Nikon. And now I'm going to put this guy on the Z50 and see how this does an autofocus test in AFF continuous autofocus. 2.8. And the cool thing is with the SnapBridge app is I'm actually able to change the aperture from my phone. So I just changed it from 3.5 to 2.8 aperture just from the click of my phone, as well as ISO, and I pressed record. Obviously can't change that live, but as it's recording, this is how the autofocus is looking. As you can see, this lens is a little wider, shooting at 17. And I'm going to test it at 17 and 50 as well. So right now, exact same autofocus speeds. Testing my autofocus. Peekaboo. That was the Sigma on 17 millimeters. Now I'm going to zoom in all the way at 50 mils and see if the autofocus does just as well. Does it change up anything? Last but not least, I'm gonna do the good old Nikon, not AFP, but the AFS Nikkor. You have your 18 to 55, 3.5 to 5.6 kit lens, VR2. Put this bad boy right on the FTZ adapter. Click it in place. And now guys, let's see how this actually does on a 4K capable camera and how is the autofocus. Now I'm using the 18 to 55, 3.5 to 5.6 aperture lens. Since this is technically third-party Nikon glass, not just third-party, I want to see how this autofocus does. And if you're watching this far, you're wondering, hey, didn't you do this test already? Well, yes, I have, but I set the autofocus settings at everything fast, so I wanted to make a new version with the proper settings that I used for autofocus. And that was me using my Nikon Z50 for just roughly, I would say, a month and a half. But now I'm going on about 2-3 months of using the Z50, getting used to the interface, getting used to how the autofocus does, and I want to do an updated version of this test. And surprisingly, all the lenses on the Z50 focusing a lot quieter than the D50-200. Go figure. Now I'm going to zoom it all the way to 55. See how that looks. Yes, you do lose a little bit, 2 stops of light, but I want to see how this does at 55. And it's still tracking my face. As you can see, the square is still over my face. Little hunting there. And yes, you know, it's known that if the Nikon Z50, because it's crop and the lower the light, the autofocus isn't going to do as well. But if you're properly lit and you have your right settings on your camera, the autofocus is fine on this camera. And the reality is you can't really go wrong with buying a camera in 2021. The video's coming up soon. Now that, guys, that was my overall Nikon FTZ test adapter and just me overall talking about the FTZ mount. And if you are considering upgrade to a Z body, whether that's the Z50 or you're looking for the more professional graded cameras like the Z6, the Z5, and even the Z7, and you have a lot of Nikon lenses laying around, you better get this, because this will make the most out of your existing lenses. And if you're on a budget and you're not looking to spend more on S glass or Z glass, getting the F to Z mount adapter is a must if you are considering upgrading to mirrorless, going from DSLR, as you can see. And the whole point of upgrading for me is this only cost me $70. I'm not sponsored by Nikon. I actually paid out of my own pocket for this adapter. Why? Because if you buy this adapter alone and you don't upgrade to the other body, you're paying $300 just to get this alone. So if you do decide to upgrade to a mirrorless body, Nikon mirrorless body, get the bundle that comes with it. You're saving yourself $200 straight from the retail box store. So link in the description if you want to check this out buying alone, but I highly suggest you get it with a kit. And if you need help with your Nikon cameras or just learning how to shoot and create better videos, link in the description. I have a full course teaching you from beginner all the way to the expert at my level, everything I know in a 1-hour crash course of how you can use your camera from going manual to auto to manual, as well as using the best settings and what are my YouTube behind the scenes footage, secrets, everything that you want to know about filming a video. Links in the description, check that out. Also get my free camera guide, links in the description, check out all my free goodies, check that out. My name is Peter, you're watching Broke Vision Collective, where we all start with nothing, but you can always create something. Cheers, guys.